Check, 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 check. Okay, that seems good. Today, I got some honesty for that ass. This is my shit. All right, welcome. Episode 17 of the Mr. Dad podcast, or video cast, whatever you want to call it. Today, all about that honesty. And I'm going to try to give it to y'all as raw as I can, but not too raw because apparently you get STDs. Now let me drop some more of them keys. It's 199 trace, so let me just play. I'm gonna let Snoop Dogg rock for a second. But this time I'm gonna hit your ass with a touch. So hard. I don't even know how people just be sleeping on Snoop. I'm telling you. Alright, so check. Microphone check 1 2 1 2. Alright, I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not too loud. It seems like I'm loud as hell for some reason.
Hi, Daddy.
I'll bring it down later, whatever. So today is the honesty episode, and basically, I'm just I got a few questions from people that are wanting to know certain few things about me and what I thought about certain situations, as well as I just wanted to get some things off my chest and be honest about it. One of the things that I really wanted to touch on today for me is and this is a question to myself, is how do I feel in the current situation that I'm in? Taking responsibility and being ultrally responsible for everything that I do. I don't feel any way about it. Actually, sometimes it's infuriating or frustrating for me as the adult that always feels like they have to be on their best game all the time. And it gets a little bit tiring and frustrated. I get a little frustrated from time to time. And I also feel like a little infuriated sometimes when I'm looking at what's going on in my life and how certain things have transpired. I get a little wary. Things get a little dark for me at times. And it's only because where I come from 2.5 years ago when I had open heart surgery, and understanding that, and that was when I got the realization that you always need someone or people in your corner to look out for you, because for the majority of my life, I've always been looking out for people. And the moment that I showed weakness, I felt like people jumped on it and squashed it and kind of fucked me over. So I was like, all right, so when I came out of that, and when I got out of my depressive, because I was depressed as hell, when I got out of my depressed state, I took a vow to myself again to stomp down hard on life and make sure that I'm set so my kids are set later on. But also at the same time, I was like, I got to work a little bit harder so that I won't have to rely on people as heavy. But shout out to my friends. So I'm not even going to play around tonight. I'm just going to go ahead and jump straight into the questions that these people have asked me. And I'm going to be as honest as I can. So the first question that I have is, how does having a daughter affect the way you view black women? And the side note to that was, I guess the woman was saying that black fathers still have trouble respecting black women. And so let me answer the question first. Having a daughter didn't really affect the way I view black women as much, because I was, if you guys have followed me for the last few months, you guys know that my mom raised me and my sisters, dad in jail, brothers were in jail pretty much my whole childhood. So I look to women a lot of the time, especially black women, a lot of the time to guide me. I'd ask my sisters questions all the time, and I also ask my mom. My mom she plays a vital role in my life. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't even be half the man that I am, and I wouldn't even say that I'm that great. But she did teach me that I needed to be responsible, and I needed to be that person that leads the family, because of without a leader, then everyone goes astray. And yeah, like I'm with you on that. For some reason, and I don't know what it is about us black males, but we have black women all the way misconstrued. The way that we treat our women is, I want to say, just disrespectful for the most part. Like, the even the way that we address them. And I know now it's cool to call your woman queen, and it's cool to like act like, oh, I'll give her the world and stuff like that. But for the most part, we calling girls bitches and sluts and hoes, or whatever. And it's even the way that we portray our women. So, for me, I don't play that. I don't even call women out their names. However, I have found that wench, and cunt are really effective if you want to get these jokes off. Okay, so second question: what is the hardest slash easiest part of being a single father? Okay, the hardest part of being a single father is I maybe, well, when it comes to my daughter, I think that's the hardest part. Uh, Raising my daughter to be a woman is pretty much like something that you do on the fly, because you know, I can't, I really can't. So I have to look to her aunties and stuff like that. The easiest part is putting them to bed at night, for sure. Uh, my kids go down to sleep easily. I've kind of like programmed them to go to sleep at a certain time. But for sure, the hardest part is continuously being there and having to do everything and dropping everything at a moment's notice. Because as much as parents understand about doing certain things for their kids, and that just being what it is, like, okay, yo, if they're sick, I gotta stay home. But that's not how the world works. So as a parent, and especially as a single parent, when shit comes up and you have to change your plans at a moment's time, it or a moment's notice, that's when it becomes hard, because your job sometimes doesn't understand, and especially if you're dating someone and you're like, yo, I can't go with you anymore because this came up. I think that would be the hardest part. Three, uh, do you find it hard to date being a single father? Yes. Absolutely, because it comes up again. Especially, like, let's say you're dating someone that is not a parent, and they have the freedom to do whatever the fuck they want to all the time. And if you are a single parent, and it's sometimes it's just the sitter's just not gonna happen. Sometimes you can't get auntie to do whatever. And let's say you're dating someone that has someone to watch their kids all the time. Like, oh, I got a built-in babysitter. Like my mom is around, or my dad is around, or their parent is super involved, or whatever. And that can be hard as well, because they can free up their time, but you can't. And then sometimes they look at you like, okay, well, yo, if I'm freeing up all this time for you, you should be able to do the same. But circumstances are different, especially for me. Like, I don't have free time. So I try to get it in where I can. Four, do you look for women to fit in the stepmom role? Fuck no. First of all, I don't even know if certain women can even raise my children, or even attempt to. And I'm one of those people that like to do a lot of stuff myself. So though I am not looking for a woman to fit the stepmom role, I would love for someone to come in and be gentle with my children and caring and understanding and things like that. But no, I don't look for the stepmom role only because like I don't even know. First of all, they have moms, and I don't want them to think like they have to do certain things. Now, if it's built in within them to take the kids under their wing, like I would for them, then so be it. But no, I don't look for it. No, not at all. Five. How and when do you start dating? How is your dating? How has my dating life changed? Okay, so I date at night. I try to date after the kids are asleep, or I date like on the weekends, like depending on if I can get the kids off, like and on and about. How has my dating life changed since I had a kid? Wow. All right, so I don't know if you guys all remember this, but remember back when you were in high school and you were dating, and you could do whatever the fuck you wanted to all the time, but you had a curfew and you had to get back to the house. That's kind of how what dating with kids are, because you can drop the kids off at the babysitter, but you got to get back in time. So, like, let's say, so that's that. I think that's the biggest change for me. When I didn't have kids, I used to just move however I wanted to move. 19, 20, 21, I was just moving how I wanted to. 22, I had a curfew again, and that was trash. It was super trash. And I just want everyone to know that if you do plan on dating, once you are a parent and the relationship doesn't work out, uh, count on disappointment, because you're not gonna always be able to do whatever, especially if you are a custodial parent or if you just want to be a parent that's fully involved all the time. Um, People think that I choose this lifestyle, but really the lifestyle chose me. Um, Number six, do you think some single dads fear filing for child support? Uh, yes. Yes, I think that society has built it in with have has built in with males that we are supposed to be the ones that are providers and things like that. So looking for child support is frowned upon, at least in my areas, in my demographic. I was my homeboy Miguel was on the last show. Like he has his daughter 67% of the time, and y'all seen he was still cool with the fact that he was paying for her to live with her mom as well. So I think that's just instilled in us. I don't know if I fear it. I just don't do it. Like I don't feel like there's a point. Like uh, just as long as you can help, regardless of the situation that you're in, then I'm cool. But for the most part, I would say yes. I feel like some dads are scared of that for sure. What advice would I give a single dad for number seven? Single dads. Hmm? No, single dads. Gosh, for single dads, I would tell you guys that it's probably wise to think about the things that you're going to be doing in the next few years and project out. I feel as a single father, one of the main things that I do well is I project out to the future, because regardless if tomorrow is promised or not, at the end of the day, whether you're there or not, if you are planning for the future, you are planning for the well-being of your kids. I feel that if we were to do that more and better, and we were able to leave something for our kids when we are gone, then I think that all will be well. I always stress for single dads to be involved. I also stress for single dads to try their hardest to be as great of a mentor as possible. Sit and study with your kids. Spend the quality time with them because they grow to appreciate things. My 11-year-old absolutely adores me, and she knows that I love her, and so does my 3-year-old. We play all the time. We do things. We study. We do homework. We read together. I would say for all single dads, the best thing that you can do is give them the time. It's not the amount of time you give them. It's the the important things that you do. What is that? Quality, not quantity. Yeah, quality over quantity for sure. Cause sitting there next to them with your phone while you guys are watching TV is not. That's not it. It's not even legit at all. Also, force your kids to read. I'm having a really hard time with my daughter lately, getting her to stay on her phone. And I know she's about to preteen it up and think that she's grown and everything, but I'm gonna trip her and push her in the pool for sure. So moving on from that, one struggle men have with raising daughters is doing hair. How do you? Have you had any problems? And do you plan to seek help? First of all, I'm laughing right now because when my daughter was like 2 or 3, I used to do her hair. I used to do this thing called palm trees. Her mom hated it. Oh, her mom hated it so much. And I would put like these little rubber bands on the top, and they would just like be poking out all around her head. And I would I would like curl them, and then I would just like let it go and like poof, right? Because I can't braid. I could barely twist, and when I twist, like they just stuck out. So I would like do this thing, and my daughter has really really fine hair, so I would like comb it, curl it, and then like brush it some more, and it would be long and stringy, but like rows at the end. I called them palm trees, and that's what Dad used to do when I used to take her from school. So we were living in Hawthorne at the time, and I would just do her hair like that all the time. And I don't think I had a problem, but apparently it was trash because her mom was upset about it, and my daughter didn't really like it too much. So I would say that I did have the problem, um, and my help was her grandma does her hair now every 2 weeks. Her grandma is first of all her grandma is freaking awesome at braiding. She's like a freaking assassin, like probably the best in the world at braiding. So she hooks her braids up, and then she'll give her some type of intricate style. And then my job as a dad is to just cover it up for 2 weeks. I'll put a wave cap on her, some type of bonnet or something. Now my daughter likes to do she calls it laying her baby hairs down. So she'll like brush her baby hairs and like with like this edge brush I gave her, and she'll take her edge control and she'll do it. You see how I know all this terminology? That means I'm involved, okay? Hold on. Then she gets the grease, the coconut oil grease, and she puts it in between her braids. Sometimes I help her, but now she's starting to get too grown for it, so she's like, she'll just do it herself. So every morning I have to wait an extra 20 minutes just for her to get her hair right. But whatever. Moving forward, number 9. When you Google single dad, the results talk about us needing help, and it and a lot of the things is about like us like as dads like needing help, uh, going somewhere that they can provide help and things like that. And when it comes up for single mothers, it doesn't read the same. And how does that make me feel? It's a really good question. I don't think that I feel bad about that. I feel like it's a societal change that has to take place, and because it's taken us maybe 20 years to get to this point where we are dad's roles has digressed down to either disciplinarian or being absent. Like we're either at this point If you leave it to Google, we're either whooping our kids or we're not there. And if we are there and we're there singly, we need to call like grandma or sisters or something to get help. And I think that although that's not true, and I don't really care about what Google search has to say about the way I do my things as a dad. I don't think it makes me feel bad that because if you think about it, because I grew up with a single mom, so of course, in my world, women are more prepared. Um, so they nurture us and things like that. So I wouldn't I wouldn't put too much stock in it, and it doesn't make me feel any type of way. It just kind of makes me side eye um, society because we as males have pushed that narrative. The shit that like the thing that people don't understand about Google and search engines and stuff like that, it all works off data and the amount of stuff that people look at and things like that. So if of course like if we're not doing our job as men in society, that's what's gonna come up. We're going to be trash on the internet. We're the same way that they picture us being trash in public. Like we're not deadbeat fathers. That's not our things. That's not how we roll. But it is what it is until we change it. So no, I don't feel no way about that. Uh, how do I feel about being? Oh no no. How how do I feel about being a stepdad? Um, how? Uh, I don't know. Like for me, like if okay, let's say I'm stepping into a household of a woman that has a kid. It's not like I haven't done it before. I wouldn't mind, but the woman that I'm stepping into the household with has to understand that I am going to treat her daughter or her son the same way I'm going to treat my kids. There won't be any favoritism. Like I see a lot of times when we have when you're in a relationship with someone, like especially with women, like what'll happen is like you're walking the house, she'll be yelling, and cussing the shit out of her kid. Get your little ass, sit your little ass down, blah blah. And then like the other person's kid will be right next to him, and she'll be like, "Oh hey, can you just can you guys calm down and be no no no. Both of y'all need to sit y'all little asses down." That's how I'm approaching it because I don't want. It's really hard to juggle uh, personalities and kids and things like that. And what I've learned over the years is that kids will pick up the favoritism. My sisters did it with my mom and me. Like they always say it to this day, like, "Oh, nothing can the boy can do no wrong" and things like that. So the fact that I know that women can pick up or kids can pick up on what the parents are doing, I don't like to show favoritism at all. The same thing I'm gonna say to my kids is the same thing I'm gonna say to your kids. If you don't like the way that I'm saying things to my kids, then you definitely not gonna like the way that I'm talking to your kid. And I think that if that's the case, then we should probably part like immediately because I refuse to treat anyone's kid either better than mine or worse than mine. It's like I'm not out here trying to make lives miserable for kids. It's just that you have to set a tone. I've been setting this tone with my kids since they were one. You don't get everything that you want, and you definitely are going to show a level of respect. So, for me, I have no problem being stepdad. Matter of fact, you can call me Mr. Stepdad if you want instead of Mr. Dad. You see the play I did on that? Was that wasn't impressive? All right, whatever. Um, and lastly, my last question is it's for myself. So self, are you upset how things have transpired? Yes, I am. For one, if people don't know this about me, I'm gonna go ahead and be clear. I am and have always been a family oriented person, and the fact that I have failed twice at being with someone, having a kid with them, and just not working, and then those kids ending up with me, which is a blessing. I am upset about it. I do. I fought myself, um, because I am the common factor in this equation. But I look at it as me being a failure for my children as well. Like, the day I do get married, I decide to get married, and they grow up seeing me interacting with the woman I'm with, and seeing, and probably one day asking me the question like, "Hey, why didn't this work out with my mom?" My answer will probably be different than what it is now, which is why this vlog video cast, fuck you Randy, is so dope. It's because I can look back and be like, you know what, this is where I am. This is where what I come from. And you know, I seen at this point generations go through the same thing. My mom went through it, you know, uh, and of course I didn't know my grandparents, but they didn't go through it. Like, they just died early in my mom's life. So when I look back on things, I'm like, as the man with the power and stuff like that, although I did try my hardest to make those things work after they went for the worst, but sometimes you can't. You gotta make your bed. You make your bed. You gotta lay in it. But I just look at it as like, I fucked up, and I will never do that again. And I know people say never, but now you got to put me in the dirt on the next one, because it's a hard pill to swallow when you want that family life, when you want to be in a committed relationship and a family, like just being greeted when you walk through the door and being hugged and adored by your family, like having people to wait for you. You know, the hardest thing for me, both times were like, fuck, like I gotta start all the way over again. I gotta I gotta remake something, rebuild something, trust, years, bonds. Those things hurt. A lot of people think we just get over it as males and just move the fuck on, but that's not it. I'm human just like everyone else. I have those emotions just like everyone else. Man or female, we all have emotions. That's why you see, and I always say dudes love harder than women. And that's why you be seeing these dudes going off their rocker and killing women when it all goes to shit. Because we do love hard and we do have the capacity to love. I know a lot of people, get that misconstrued. We just don't love as fast. But once you got us, you got us. And when you love somebody, you love them for forever. But you're not in love with them, of course. So, yeah, I am a little bit peeved at myself and my mates, at their moms, at just the way that things happen. And that's honesty. Until next time, I get out here and raise these kids.